Welcome to D&D ranking.
Oh,
Rank?
that's what he meant by ready. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize we were
When he
live.
says we're gonna start, are you ready? And you say yeah, it kind of implies that
I just assumed he was still starting the stream, but that's
oh,
fine.
crazy. What a world we live in.
Yeah. Woo.
Wow.
But yeah, welcome to Dice and Fire ranks all the classes in D&D. As us four nerds argue about it and disagree with each other, and they're all wrong and I'm right.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
As you can see, that's the hierarchy of this channel.
We do as Ellis says, and that's about it.
Great.
I would
Good to
say
hear.
the DM is always right. Three of us here have DM'd and one of us has not.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Richie, when are you
Xylo,
DMing?
step up. When are you gonna DM Xylo?
I don't think that's where this conversation was going,
Yeah.
actually.
Pretty sure
And I have
it
to
is.
be honest, it wasn't.
I loved Richie in Scurvy Seas. What are you talking about?
Exactly. I was a great DM.
Yep.
Do you remember that time Richie also DM'd Skyrim D&D?
Yeah, that was great.
It's good
Good
times.
moment for me.
Well, unfortunately today we were not able to do our regular scheduled session of Curse of Strahd, which, to those who are confused, will not be taking this time slot because it's more convenient for people to actually be able to show up and make it to the game. Oh.
This is the Curse of Strahd filler arc.
Ooh.
This is the curse of Strahd.
Yeah.
Blame side needing a paycheck.
Yeah. What's that about, side?
How dare you?
I got a promotion. They're like, hey, for the promotion, you got to work all day Friday. And I'm like, all right, bet. So here we are.
That's fair enough.
Yep. I'm not
Listen.
opposed to the time whatsoever. And, you know, it can actually be darker when we play spooky vampire games.
Exactly.
Gosh, it's dark at 6:30? What's happening?
We would play later if it wasn't for Mr. UK.
Hey, I gave you an
Living
extra
in
hour.
Florida.
And you could have started at 12.
Huh?
7 his
Speaking
time.
foreign languages to us.
Yeah.
Midnight. Which is in 30 minutes from now. That's when he could have started.
Oh.
But yes,
That was the latest time.
with nothing else, we are here to rank all the D&D classes. As you can see here
Yeah.
on this beautiful layout I made in like 10 minutes.
Ooh.
We have all the classes: Artificer, Barbarian, Bard,
Oh,
Blood Hunter, blah
wow.
blah 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 blah.
I think it's a wonderful layout.
Thank you.
Guess I can close roll 20.
Yeah, we don't need that today.
Aww. Goodbye, Masaccio.
So we're going to be starting off with the Barbarian first. A class some of us know pretty well. We had a lot of experience with Barbarians over there in I believe we've had Bell play one, Yuki play one over there in Tales
I
of
think every
Tales of
campaign
Olympus.
we've had has had some form of barbarian in it.
Oh wow, it has. Richie played one.
It's pretty
I played
good.
a full level barbarian as well.
Had
Yeah.
one in Scurvy Seas as well.
Yeah.
My experience with barbarians
The
actually probably was
Avatar did not though.
Yeah, I guess you're right. 4
This is
monks
funny.
did not equal barbarian.
Man, you get real close with 4 months though.
Look, we all agreed towards the end that turning the Earthbender into a barbarian might have been smarter. Because,
Yeah.
when my character was switched out for Naya's character, I suggested the Sorcerer, and that seemed to fit really well. But, we learned things. But
Yeah, it's all about how you
barbarians-
skin stuff. But yes,
With knife, preferably.
the Rage Masters himself.
Biggest health pool. Massive strength. Ability to hit higher strengths than any other class.
Mm-hmm.
Big damage.
In just the without subclassing, in a fight with no magic, like just a straight up like damage dealing, physical damage dealing like boss, they effectively have double the health, which in some cases is like 600 health,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
which is
there.
absurd.
obviously the go-to thing about Barbarians is level 1 you get Rage. Resist
Yeah.
half damage you take from like 3 of
Yeah.
the biggest sources of damage.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, it's very big.
So early game Barbarians are really good. Now late game,
Yeah.
however, we're looking at this for the full scheme up to level 20. How
Huh?
good is a
Still
level
pretty
20
good.
Barbarian?
They only
Still
get 2
pretty good.
attacks.
So they're
You
the
only get to attack.
they're the only class I believe that can exceed level 20 on their scores. That may be
Yes.
that may be a subclass thing. I'm not sure.
At level 20, your strength and constitution scores increase by 4.
Yep.
So they can hit up to 24.
Up to 24. So that's the only class
Yeah,
that can
yeah.
do that. I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
outside
in
of
their case,
magic,
constitution can equal AC.
Yep.
With their
Uh,
unarmored
Tell you
defense.
about it. I got my
um,
level 20 barbarian right here.
unlimited raging at level 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think people usually run out of rage as a barbarian.
Yeah.
True.
Well, if a fight goes too long, you exceed that 10-turn limit or whatever. Then you start
Then
getting
you just
exhaustion.
rage again with one of your other 4 to 6 rages. Come
Yeah,
on.
but you
I
think you
would say, depending on which one you go, there is a very good team-based class for the barbarian.
Yeah, I will
Mhm.
say as far as most classes, the subclasses for barbarian tend to be the most underwhelming because it's just
They're not
buffing
too
this
crazy, are
class.
they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
It's
path
it's
of
just
the totem, like
it's a lot of just filling in the cracks of what a barbarian is. Like, what do they really need to do well in this team composition?
Everyone
They're
says
already
Path
very
of the
strong.
Totem's usually one of the best just because it makes it so they
Yeah,
block even more half damage.
exactly.
I do enjoy Path of the Beast from what we've seen in Tales of Olympus and
It's a
Scurvy
fun
Sea.
one. It's a good flavor one. They
It
got
is a good flavor one, and like the range you get, the healing you get, and all that from
Yeah.
your different abilities.
I know what you're talking about. Wild magic barbarians at
Wild Magic Barbarian, yes.
the. Yeah. I mean, in general, though, I think barbarians are just sort of a core,
Darn it.
core.
I don't
team
know where to
comp.
put these guys though.
Yeah,
I don't think they're like outright broken. Like
They're not A.
they're not. They are. They
No.
B for Barbarian.
Yeah, I think it's just because
So it might be a low B because I'm thinking of a lot of other classes we have on this list.
yeah.
And we can move these things around later. We can do that.
Yeah.
But-
Mhm.
Of
course.
I think if you went with an ancestral guardian barbarian as like your front line, your team's pretty safe.
Sure.
Now it's a blessing and a curse, but the ability to attack with advantage on every attack is a really good thing with reckless attack.
But that can be easily fixed by loads of other things. There are plenty of other classes and things like that that can help give your entire team.
And if you're
Yeah.
doing your job as a tank and fighting multiple targets, then they all get advantage.
Just
against you, so.
cast True Strike every turn and you're set.
I mean, we saw like
No.
our level level 5 barbarian take on 5 vampire
I did take on a
thralls,
lot of vampires at
You
once.
just take on.
like 5 or 6 vampire thralls, and not really struggle.
Once again,
until,
you can take
he
hits, but
died.
you can't
What do
really
you mean
deal
he
damage.
died? That is called struggling.
he died, but that was more on us. Than
And
him.
90% of them
For
were
a
at full
very long
health.
time.
Yeah,
And we were missing our healer.
yeah, and we were also missing a healer.
Yeah.
I
So
think
Barbarian-
Also get this straight. What's
Team-
the point of healing a barbarian? It's a drop in the bucket. Come on.
If
Yeah.
Devin's there, I think I live.
I don't know. I think on the same
yeah,
vein, like
but-
again, if you're fighting mostly unarmed, like unmagical targets, like a healing for barbarian is again double the healing, so
Yeah.
it's still equivalent to double the
Oh,
health.
Yeah. Let me cure wound you for 8. 16 more
I
health
also
right there.
If
Yeah,
I was
literally.
surrounded by something that wasn't healing itself all the time, might have had a better time.
Oh
dealing
yeah,
with them.
yeah. You know, they get
Yeah.
plus 10 HP every turn. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
was
so you're
another issue.
literally only tanking, not able to do so.
I was
any
pretty much
damage.
a tank the entire time.
that's like the one thing about barbarians. They don't get a lot of help outside of just like
Yeah.
that. They're kind of meatheads that just take a beating and dish out a beating, but like against especially magical targets, things that like vampires, like undead fiends and stuff, they kind of do struggle
Mhm.
a little bit. Where the magic
I
starts to
agree with
become-
B. I think B's a good
Yeah.
place for barbarian.
It's a
Yeah.
low B for me, and I really like
Also-
barbarians, but
they're good
Also,
early game, they're
Barbarian is
not good late
very-
game.
Also, they're pretty easy to play. Like as far as like their base class, like mechanics.
Yeah,
That's
they
true.
are.
They're pretty
Fighter
easy
or
to play.
barbarian are like new
say they're a
in
good
D&D.
gateway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right. So we'll put them in B tier. Like that, this can be adjusted as we progress. Next up, we have the Mr. Bard expert himself.
A top of the board, put him at the top.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, no
I
Go
experience.
straight to the top.
No
Uh,
experience.
next.
Got it.
Honestly,
Next.
I have to agree. As far as spellcasters go, bards are so good. But ironically, bardic inspiration gets like kind of useless sometimes. But like,
At the same time, Bardic Inspiration is just free. It's just
Yeah.
extra icing on top of the cake.
it's a nice little yeah, it's a nice little helpful thing, and if you need it.
I mean, like we saw with Tobias, like you don't have to use it to help your teammates out. You can use it to
Yeah.
drop attack rolls from the enemy, even.
Yeah, all the different
sub.
subclasses do different
Yeah.
things. You can
Mhm.
go crazy.
And as far as role playing stuff too, I think bards are some of the coolest for sure.
Oh yeah.
Some of the most
Yeah.
interesting.
But
they have a
how
lot
good are they on their own though? Like in a 1v1 fight, how good is the bard doing?
Do you want to
In a-
see my bard 1v1 any other character and see what happens?
I mean,
Fair bar.
Cursed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Alright.
would say they're doing pretty good for themselves.
They can survive. They can't
If
kill
I
though.
can use every one of my bardic inspiration die to make that save harder for you, come on.
What about pre-curse bot?
True.
what
There's different ways.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can do a lore barding,
counter spells.
pick spells from any spell list if you'd prefer that.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a bard with Revivify.
You could be a melee bard and go the shadow
Valor.
one.
Yeah, or that.
Was it bad what I played when we did the level 20, the second one?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, greater invisibility and just avoid
Yeah,
everything.
when invisible-
Outside of the ancient red dragon, just win.
Yeah. Power word kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bard is
I-
a high level spellcaster that also has a ton of skills and side bonuses.
I think it's safe to say bard is easy.
yeah.
I think-
But I'm not
I-
done.
Keep going. What else they got?
All the potential. Literal jack of all trades as an ability, which then they can do just about everything.
We saw
They don't
Michael's
get-
one shot. 3 levels in a bard got me like a plus 26
I am
to
I'm
all my
looking at
rolls.
my level 3 bot right now, and it looks pretty crazy for a level 3 character.
Which one?
Yeah.
So, you've never seen it. It's
Oh,
a level
okay.
3 bot I made.
Alright.
So it's pretty crazy for a level 3.
Bards
So-
are cool.
Yeah, great spell list. You know, you actually get some, AC and some attacking potential that you're never going to use in most cases.
All right.
But-
It's official. A tier is the highest it can go because I didn't put in S tier on
Yeah,
the thing.
I noticed.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
not.
No
That's
S
fine.
tier.
So in that case, do you want to
Yeah.
drop Barbarian down to C tier? Since
I mean,
that,
we've set it there for now. We can move it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might change our minds.
I can't wait till fighter comes in. That's going to be a fun debate. Barbarian or fighter.
ooh,
Yeah, I know what my argument for fighter is going to be. So yeah. Anyways,
All right.
All right. Next up, we're gonna hit Cleric. We're gonna get the main classes in first, and then we'll hit the DLC classes, if you will.
Alrighty.
oh, yeah.
Alright.
All right, Cleric. I've had no experience with Cleric.
I haven't played one, but man, they can be good. Once again, they're a
They-
high-level spellcaster, but they get the bonus of being able to have high AC. and,
Generic
you know,
healer.
I'm pretty sure
They don't even just
Cleric-
have to be healer. They get
Uh,
good spells.
Dude,
I've heard Tempest Domain Cleric. Mm.
Yo, yeah, you're an armored wizard at that point.
I mean,
I mean,
Well,
there's some
not armored,
great,
armored
there's some
sorcerer.
great cleric subclasses. Like, I mean, Death Cleric is awesome,
hmm
hmm
right? Like War Cleric. And then what was the one? It's like Cleric of the Graves or something like that.
Yeah, there's a
The
Graves one. You
Graves
can do
Domain.
a necromancy edged cleric. You can do one that literally, if you heal someone who's unconscious, the heal is just automatically max.
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's
Great.
That is
the
Grave
pretty good.
Cleric.
subclasses are really
No.
good for that.
Grave Clerics, divinity thing that they get, their channel divinity, literally gives you double damage on the next hit.
I will
Wow.
say, as like a primary subclass, feature, I don't love the channel divinities too much. They are
Some
really
of them are
good,
good,
but they're
some
just
of
like you
them
pop them once and then sometimes they don't even work in certain
Yeah.
cases.
For sure.
They get very good spells for a healing class.
Yeah, no, everyone
Yeah.
Really
ties
good.
them into a healing class, but they get tons of stuff. They get some unique damage spells. They get a bunch of utility spells. I wouldn't say they hit like as high damage potential as other spellcasters or anything like that,
No.
but
Oh,
it's a really good set of stuff.
my level 3 has a guiding bolt with a 4d6, infinite
No.
wounds 3d10.
Yeah, the thing
Radiance of
about
the Dawn 2d10 plus 3.
Yeah. no, I mean for sure. I don't think as damage goes, I don't think they're actually like. Once you look at wizard spells, like and sorcerer spells, man, they do damage.
Yeah, it's you're speaking a different language at that point.
Yeah. But like clerics are really good, not necessarily like solo, but I think as a team, like they're really just good. They have
And a great AC.
you can build them in a ton of different ways. I mean, we saw how much healing my druid cleric did. It was like there was like one where I did 32
yeah,
healing
true.
in one turn. It was ridiculous.
But I don't know if that's just because he was into Cleric. I know you went the Cleric domain to make the healing better, but Druids
You,
can
al-
be
didn't-
pretty
but
I
cool as
you,
well.
didn't-
you also had the chalice thing with
Yeah,
stars.
that one, but I also didn't go life domain.
Oh, okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, so,
Getting some
so
cleric
it's just the
spells
Druid
was
doing all the
helpful.
healing.
Yeah,
true.
it was the cleric spells that helped more than anything.
So I think
But
it's
a
safe to
lot of
say,
people get the basic healing spells. Like almost every class gets Cure
yeah,
Wounds.
As a solo class, I wouldn't put it as an A. But
You don't
no.
play D&D as a solo character.
Exactly. So as a team, 100%.
I don't think
an A.
that should ever be part of these arguments.
okay.
Yeah, then
So
I'd
definitely
say-
better than Barbarian, but worse than
I'd put
Bard.
it above Barbarian.
I think it's
Um,
another thing of like.
I'd put it in
I
a
think
high
clerics-
B, personally.
I'd put an A.
I kind of think a cleric is
It's like riding the
there,
line
like,
for me.
it should be in every team comp, personally.
Yeah.
I don't think it
Which
needs
is
to
why I think it's A.
You don't think?
Great
It's
healing.
that or
great
Paladin
spellcasting.
you need.
be. You can have a Druid and he'll do just as good healing when you needs to.
Oh,
you can have
yeah,
a Bard and
sure.
he'll do pretty good healing when he needs to. Speaking of Bards being awesome.
I think the one thing that
Bonus
hate it.
action healing word on top of my vicious mockery.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting.
Oh,
I think
cool.
I think clerics can be really good, but I think sometimes like they can kind of feel useless.
I think cleric is one of the classes that would be overlooked because it's an on-the-nose healer and nobody wants to play the support class.
You say that, but
Really
man,
good.
there are some cleric classes. There's some classes that
Yeah.
are just not healing
Yeah,
based,
exactly.
and they are awesome.
We'll get
I
more
think
into
just
it
by the
later for
name
sure.
cleric, they'd be overlooked.
Yeah.
until
Yeah, I'll
you
be
actually
honest, like,
look into it.
when I do finally play a Cleric, I am not going life domain at all.
I think that's the
Yeah.
one strength.
I won't be a
that
spicy
clerics have.
rogue.
The one
or a
strength that a
spicy
cleric, yeah, the one thing that clerics have is that they have a lot of different subclasses you can go with.
That's true.
is
They,
super
they're one of the
nice.
more varying ones. Like, literally, their
They
armor that
definitely
they
have
get
good
to
ones.
wear changes. Their
Yeah.
spell list changes. Certain clerics can cast Fireball, for example.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're most versatile, and that's why they're kind of like a nice,
Yeah.
pretty high level class. So
Yep.
All right.
So I think high B, but, I'm not
Where are you,
upset
Side?
with them being there.
I would say
Like I said, I'm riding the line between A and B. I'm leaning more toward B because whenever picking a class, Cleric and Paladin are like the one that least likely to choose. Just because they give off that
Let's think-
ambiance of like
Let's think of the role play.
bougie
Let's
and,
add
like-
that into this.
okay,
How
What do
much
they- what
does
do they
everyone
provide?
like the religious Cleric and Paladin role play here?
I don't like it.
Like,
I'm
you
not a
can
fan
have
of it.
the
I know it can be good
standard.
if you
I
do
think
it
could
right,
be
but
done really well.
I'll say this now and bring it back up later. Cleric over Paladin because you can be an evil cleric. It is
Maybe
very.
Paladin.
You
Yeah,
have
you
that
can-
one Oathbreaker pathway for, it, and that's about it.
Actually,
can roleplay
turns
it a
out
certain way.
your paladins aren't actually they don't get their powers from their gods. They merely get it from the oath. So it's whatever oath you take.
Oh
so
yeah.
Oath of the
you can
Watchers
be a
doesn't
dark
need god.
vengeance paladin.
Oh yeah, Oath
Alright.
of the Watchers is actually the reason why I went Oath of the Watchers is because it's not very religious. It's just all about like that, like sort of like that vigilante kind of anti-hero. So
Yeah,
I
so-
would, yeah. So as far as, but I think clerics tend to get their powers more from their deities. So
That's fair. So yeah, let's drop that down to high B.
yeah, I'm down to high
Because
B.
because of the
Definitely above
religious
Barbarian.
property.
Yeah, I think the role play is a little bit more difficult if you're like not
Yeah.
sure how to play off that religiousness, if in a way.
True,
don't think
compare
I
it to
can roleplay
barbarian, just
that
have fun
fast.
smashing stuff, and
Yeah.
a
I have
bard
6
just goof around.
intelligence. I have 6 intelligence. I know what I'm doing.
Mhm.
I feel like
That
the
sign
roleplay
can't
comes
stop
in
me.
with
I
the
can't
name of the
read.
class.
It's harder to make that
Yeah.
have an effect on tier list, just because everyone has different tastes. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
at the same time, I think like it does matter.
Like I feel
I've
like
seen-
I could roleplay every class fine. I
Mhm.
don't think I'd have a struggle with any of them.
But what would you have more fun with? I think that's
What I'm
important.
Feeling like
That's fair.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd base it more on the character than the class. I think
Yeah.
the only one that was more class than character was dumb. But that came from a dynamic that me and Michael came up with.
Yeah. that was your intelligence roll. Like it's pretty good.
And that too. So it's kind of a lot of luck based too of what the character becomes.
That's
less
true.
than the class.
If you
But
get
who
all good
didn't like
rolls,
dumb?
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Who didn't like dumb?
No, but
Side.
it's hard
me,
to play.
I hated dumb.
I was really upset.
That's
when he
why
died.
he's
I
dead.
was like, oh, he's the first Richie character I like. Aw, it's a shame.
Many more to come.
Are there though?
I told Richie I have to kill off every one of his characters.
I haven't figured out what the next character's gonna be yet. What his personality is gonna be like.
Oh boy.
Mm.
Gotta think about it.
There's some fun ones with what's the they're called, the Lionels or something?
The
Yeah.
Leonin.
Leonin, that's what they're called. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're interesting.
Yeah.
But I think I agree. High B for Cleric. I think
Alright.
What's
everything's
next?
there.
Next up, we got Druid, Michael's favorite.
Ooh.
Dude, Druids are so awesome. Druids are like, okay, Druids are the class that everyone's like, I want to play a spellcaster, but I don't want to play Druid because either it's too complex or it's too meh. It's not cool like Wizard or something, but it's awesome. Druids are so cool.
I don't know. I think they are pretty cool, personally.
I think they're really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're as good as a few other classes, though.
You're gonna hate me.
I'm gonna have a hard time not putting them in B.
I'm seeing them
Yeah.
below Barbarian because though they're great, don't get me wrong,
This
I
is
love
a
them.
hard list. I want to put a lot of them really high, and then
Yeah.
a
I saw
certain
this.
one
I
of them
saw
really
this with
low.
the level 21 shot. But all your spells are concentration based. There's not much you can do,
Yeah.
True.
That is where it becomes more difficult.
think
which is
they're
why
on
I'm
the
making
weaker
Barbarians
side.
above it.
I
Yeah,
think that would be
Barbarians
the
seem to
coolest, but the
concentrate on
weakest.
anything. Yeah, I think they are the most like interesting, as in like again like a cleric. Like Druids are don't. I think the weird thing with Druid is they don't really have an identity. Like clerics are the identified healer. So what is a Druid? Is it a healer? Is it a
That's
a
true.
damage spellcaster? Is it a utility spellcaster?
But
Are
at
you
the
just
same
wild
time,
shaping? Are you just
in
a
my
furry?
mind, that
Like,
puts them in the same place as a bard. You know, they have a lot of potential.
Yeah.
They can do a lot of things.
I think
Bard does it better.
I think Bard is more like
Yeah,
like a
maybe.
defined sort of utility support. Like most people see Bard as utility support that can do damage. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Vicious
Yeah.
Mockery is what to the Bard is what Eldritch Blast is to the Warlock. So
It really is.
you know, it has a defined.
That's another
identity.
hot side take. What do you think's a better spell, Vicious Mockery or Eldritch Blast?
Ooh,
Uh,
I think Vicious Mockery because you get the disadvantage on attacks.
Yeah.
That was
Um,
my opinion as well.
Eldritch
but I'm
Blast is more
partially
powerful,
biased.
but I think the disadvantage on the next attack is a lot
Every class
better.
has power.
Yeah. No, 100%.
This is
Uh,
probably my first C class, I think.
Unfortunately, I love Druids, but I think people are finding them too hard to play, which is understandable. Like
I mean, I've never played
knowing what
one.
to do is they're confusing, especially with
Yeah.
the Druid spell list. It doesn't ever feel like you pick the right spells for any situation.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
prepping Druid spells.
I love
it's
Druid spells, but yeah, I guess their spell list is a little lacking
little
compared
bit
to some of the other ones.
lackluster.
Like,
They're
are we
very
basing it on
one-dimensional.
How good they are, how cool they are.
I think how much fun they are to play, but also how generally good they are.
And I
think
came
Druids
into
are
this
fun.
thinking Druid in a high place, but yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Druids are fun, but compared to some of the other classes, I don't think they're as good.
Yeah. Why play a druid when you can play a bard? Why play a druid when you can play a wizard?
Mm. I played a druid because I had a great character in mind that could do this thing.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, I don't know. The limitation on you can only use wooden stuff. You can't really wear armor. Like all the limitation you get because your nature
be
essence
fair,
is.
Actually, as a Druid, you can use metal weapons, but you can't use.
Although you can use anything metal.
You can't wear
They're
metal
allowed
armor.
to use scimitars at the beginning of the game
Yeah.
for some reason.
You can't wear metal armors.
Hmm,
Although
okay.
studded leather armor is like one of those things. It's like, well,
You
it's
can count it as-
primarily leather, so it's like, oh,
Yeah.
they might allow studded leather armor, but like things that are primarily metal, you can't wear them. But,
Yeah,
like,
you
They're not
can't-
gonna
you
wear
can't-
metal as other spellcasters anyway, though.
So,
In most
Cleric.
cases.
but also, I'm
Well, yeah,
pretty
that's
sure
one of their biggest draws, though.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you can do that.
I'm also
saying
pretty
most
sure
of the
you
others.
can't shillelagh a metal weapon, but I might be wrong. I'd have to go check.
That makes
Yeah.
sense, but
But also, shillelagh is the most fun cantrip in my opinion.
it's just that's just a fun one.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily make it better than any other class, just having good.
No.
Yeah, I guess druids don't have good cantrips. do they?
No, cantrips kind of suck on druids. I used shillelagh, and that was my only cantrip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's only so shillelagh says the wood of a club or quarterstaff. So
And maybe that's why like, you can only use wooden weapons. Because why would you not go
That was-
shillelagh?
yeah, I mean it's an extra D8.
No, yeah, it makes them actually able
Yeah,
to do
it-
something aside from spellcasting, but at the same time, your spellcasting is the primary focus anyway.
Yeah,
Alright,
druids
so-
are.
I think if we're going by how cool they are, maybe a low B.
It depends because like some of them have great wild shape, and some of them suck for wild shape. So
Wild shape as a
Druid,
whole is like you gotta
great.
you have to waste an entire turn to wild shape. It's like
That is the one sucky thing about Wild Shape is wasting an entire turn. Unless
trying
you're
to
Moon
spread
Druid.
this
If you're
Yeah.
not a Moon Druid, it's more utility, I'd say.
Yeah.
yeah. All right,
I mean,
so
the amount of times Vinny was like, I'm gonna astral form, and that's my turn.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, burning 2 turns to get to starting the game is not fun.
Now, if you change it to an actual beast form, whatever, yeah, take 2 turns to get full HP for whatever beast you transform into. Really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I love the
But-
concept of high-level Moon Druids, though.
Yes.
Infinite and wild shapes. It's like, oh, and they can turn into elementals too.
Yeah.
Ah, I'm a elemental. Oh, you got me down. I'm another elemental.
Hmm.
Obviously, they're not like the craziest, threat to
Yeah.
deal with at that level, but it's just infinite. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can put them at C.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like we need to put something lower.
Hmm.
This might be the first.
I mean,
one.
I still feel like barbarians might drop down as well, but we'll see the other classes.
Yeah. All right. Now, the moment we've been waiting for. Fighter.
Fighter.
Okay. Fighter
gotta-
as a class, C. Fighter as like Echo Knight as a fighter subclass, S tier. Every other subclass, not great.
I was like, Econite is one of the best, for sure.
One of the best subclasses in the game, without a doubt. Like,
I gotta go
personally,
B for fighter, personally.
The only thing fighter has is I attack 8 times, and that's it.
If you play D&D to do damage,
Yeah.
you play fighter.
Yeah, you
Simple
min
as
max
that.
as a fighter. You play rapier fighter, and that's how you min max.
True, your dex fighter. If you really want to be that guy.
Yep, you play rapier fighter and you min max.
I think it does have to go B based on being the best for damage.
They also
It
get
might not be the most exciting.
they also
I
have
think
the chance for most feats with 7 options.
True,
get
and
a-
feats are so good.
Like they get
Yeah.
7 ability score improvements.
The fighter is the class that is similar to the human race. You know, it's like
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
obviously it's not like the most
Good.
exciting, not the most
Yeah.
flavorful. You have to add a lot of
Yeah.
personal flavor to it to make it an exciting roleplay character.
Anyone who tells me they're
but-
playing a human fighter, I'm just like, are you not creative at all?
this is your first D&D session.
Well,
Yeah.
on the other side, you could be incredibly creative, and that's why you do that, because you have a super creative idea to go along
Oh
with
yeah,
it.
no, I don't think
Yeah.
human fighter.
If you
is
don't, then that's just a shame.
Yeah.
You have some big shoes to fill if you play something that vanilla. But
You can be a gunslinger. That makes it A.
Gunslinger is.
But that's not
is
even
a
that's not even a
subclass.
real subclass. That's
it's
homebrew.
just a reskinned fighter at the end of the day.
Yeah,
pretty
the
much
problem is
the same thing.
Gunslinger has a lot of cool things in it, but it has to be like that's not an every game thing. Some DMs don't like
No.
Gunslinger because it means
Yeah.
you have to integrate guns into your world somehow.
Mhm.
So
Looks fun for pirates.
At the same time,
It
it's
is.
just like one of the things in fighter anyway. It gets all the same abilities, just melee instead of range.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, Gunslinger has some stuff like grit. The grit.
Yeah, I actually think
spells
gunslinger is really
is
cool.
really cool.
If
But
it
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just I forget what the fighter's called, but it's just the same
Uh,
thing as the superiority dice.
yeah,
Yeah. Like
just
the
renamed.
swashbuckler
Rune-
rogue.
I just like the types of trick shots you can do.
Rune Knight is also a
Like
pretty good
Gunslinger.
subclass. And then you have things like Eldritch Knight, which is like why does this
Yeah,
exist?
that's just like, okay, I want to do some spells. I will say the Eldritch Knight isn't the main appeal.
It's so weird. It's like the exact same as like.
It's like I
Blades and
kind
the
of want to be a
Wizard.
paladin, but
Yeah,
no, I don't want to be
Well,
a
like a-
paladin.
I'm a paladin, but I'm not really a great paladin. Just kind of like a half paladin.
Paladin with more attacks, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright,
So
yeah.
I don't know. I think the fighter thing is like it's great as like a damage dealer, but it doesn't do anything else outside of that. It's not really a great tank by any means because you don't really get high AC as a fighter.
So
I mean, you
I'm
get about as high AC as anyone else, but
I'm leaning toward a below barbarian because, like we mentioned,
Oh, yeah,
it,
that's
it,
the
it,
argument.
it is the vanilla class. It is the human of classes. Why play a fighter? It just seems so basic, you know. And that's kind of my thought process.
I
mean,
might
yeah,
put
I
it above
know.
barbarian personally. Just because
It's
I
the
think they both
simplest
have
class
just
to
as
play.
much variety of flavor. Obviously, barbarian have inherent flavor added to them already, but I think they
Mhm.
both can add just as much variety in their subclasses and all that.
I think
And I
it's the one
think if you
thing-
go
yeah.
one against the other at a high level or generally throughout the campaign, I think a fighter is generally a little more useful.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the
We
feats
literally
are the
proved
saving
that.
grace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm conflicted because I think fighter is better. I think barbarian's like more interesting.
I think fighter
But you
leaves
could
is like
make a
so
fighter
simple.
interesting if
Yeah.
you're just making an interesting character.
I think
Obviously, it's
Good,
easy to make an
but
interesting
I
barbarian.
say that for every single one. I think just on base class, I think barbarian's more interesting.
I think fighter is great because there's a lot of room for making an interesting character and like the RP aspect, and the mechanics are
Yeah.
easy, so
Yeah.
fights aren't that
Yeah.
difficult. So you have a nice damage dealer, you have a lot of room for RP, but on top of that, like it does get really repetitive. It's like, oh, what are you gonna do this turn? I'm gonna attack and attack. I'm gonna action surge. I'm gonna attack and attack. You know,
Same thing you can say for
Second
barbarian,
win.
no.
yeah.
Same thing for ranger.
So
I mean, any martial
I
class,
think
really.
I think that's the
Yeah.
the point
And
is like
warlocks.
I think that's the thing. That was like I'd put fight like I think even a ranger has more interesting things to do, even though it's not a great class. It still has
Yeah, we'll
more
get to
interesting
ranger
things to
eventually.
do than fighter, but it is better than it's still better than the ranger. I would put it on the same level as barbarian personally.
So we
I
have
think
one
it's-
below,
Yeah, I
one
agree with
above, and on par. So
Mhm. So I guess it's going in B, however we
Yeah.
slice it. But
I think you could
Just
probably
put it next to it.
yeah,
you
I
know?
mean,
Yeah.
either way, they're on par.
I'm down for same level. You know.
I think if you play the right fighter subclass, you're hitting the A tier, but in most of them you're either going C tier or B tier.
And because the feat bonuses you get from it, and all the ability score improvements, and the extra attack, I will say it gives a slight edge over barbarian.
Yeah, I mean you can't forget about things. The fact that like samurai exists and purple dragon knight.
This is yeah.
those are a little much.
Ooh, man, Cavalier and Champion also exists.
Yeah.
Cavalier is very specific unless you choose it to be exceptionally useful all the
I don't
time,
think it-
being more broken than any other class.
I don't think I've ever seen a Cavalier played just because it's not practical.
Fighters,
I've,
the
conceived
thing-
Cavaliers in my mind before, but it's literally just to
the
cheese
minute-
a power
yeah.
game.
Well, the minute you step into a dungeon, all right, come my 6 foot tall horse, come on.
Yeah, I know. It's like yeah.
Well, here's the power game of it: play a halfling, ride a
Yep.
dog.
Be the Witcher, and you can just call your horse at any moment.
You're dead to me. All right.
You can completely power game a Cavalier.
All right.
All right.
It's dumb.
So let's get to my least favorite. One of my least favorite classes, monk.
Ooh,
Oh my god, monks are so cool in concept, but so
they are really cool.
bad in practice.
I
They're
think I
not
agree.
good. Yeah, like
They're
they're
so not.
they're great if the enemy has less than 5 HP. That's about it.
They have very specific abilities that are very good in specific situations.
I mean, late game, like there are some great things. I like stillness of mind. Awesome, love it. The fact that you were resistant to like poison and disease, cool.
don't they get like straight up stunning strike? Stunning?
Yeah,
Massive.
massive. Although to be fair, monk. The thing about stunning strike, great concept. Again, bad in practice because you have to beat a really low like save usually. It's not great. It's like you have to build both dex and wisdom, and that's hard.
Hmm.
On any character to not just smash the ability score into one is difficult. And
Yeah.
on top of that, subclasses kind of suck.
Monk is one of those classes that I keep telling myself I'm gonna go back to and play monk again. 2 sessions in, I'm just like I hate my life. Please kill my character off.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Mm.
a reason why like the Ascendant Dragon was like one of the only reasons I played monk was because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's actually a decent subclass.
You're so squishy, but yet you have to be in the front lines to do anything. It
Yeah.
doesn't work.
I think it like the thing is like, oh, it's like, oh, there's such cool things from like actual self as a concept. Awesome, so dope. You build actual arms. That's so cool. And then they do nothing.
And I think after like level 10, all your stuff's like roleplay. Oh, you don't age, you don't have to eat food. Like
Yeah, I mean,
you don't get
literally-
anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a solid like F tier for me personally.
Let's talk about its
Ooh.
level 20th ability, right?
That's
What
just
is it?
like, don't-
When you roll for initiative and have no key points remaining, you get 4 key points.
That I'm gonna use it in one turn.
So
That
when
is
you're
just-
already completely tapped out of your resource of 20,
Yeah,
get
yeah,
4.
4,
Ah.
which is not very useful. I'll be
And
honest
that's
with you.
only if you start a completely fresh fight after being completely tapped out.
That's your level 20th ability, yeah.
Darn.
It's real bad.
Is there any saving grace for them?
Yeah, people are saying, It's you get Step of the Wind, and you get the Flurry of Blows and a few
Oh,
other things.
you can run for miles and miles with a monk.
Now here's
That's
the
all
thing.
you got.
Literally, I think was
It's
it my
like playing a rogue, but you have to spend points to do the rogue abilities.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
I think my Tabaxi monk in one turn could go 120 feet without using an action or something.
It's true.
But like, come on.
Yeah. Cool. You can get away from a fight easily. Bravo.
Yeah. Or
I
you
will
could run
say,
to the back
in
line,
like a
but it's
1v1
about it.
scenario, which isn't standard D&D, monks might be
great.
one of the best.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because you get like 40 attacks. You get more attacks than a fighter somehow.
Yeah,
You
when you
know?
spend your points. And like the character I played in Avatar Kozan, he was very monkey, and he was insane. With just the sheer amount of attacks. If you manage to get bonuses on those attacks by any means, really good. But yeah, I feel like in a party scenario, having all these things like the movement capabilities, the versatility, it's not really going to add anything. At the end of the time, you're really just counted for the damage and the abilities you bring to the table.
You hit. It's like
you can use your multiple attack thing, but you're spending an ability to do something fighters get for free. You can use Step of the Wind, but rogues can bonus action dash for free.
And as far as damage goes, it's like playing monk is like the equivalent of being a blacksmith, but using one of those squeaky hammers. So yeah, you can swing it really, really a lot, very fast, but you're doing like minimal damage to it. So it's
darn, yeah. I guess
Low.
not great. It's not great.
DRF.
It sounds really cool, but the weaknesses become very apparent very quickly, and they're very easy to not take advantage of.
And this being said, like anyone can play one of these classes, have a great time, and play it exceptionally well, better than someone who's playing a bard. But
at face value, opinion, like I said, every class has its pros and cons. At certain points, a monk could outbeat a bard.
It's not that the classes are like so unplayable, but it's more like compared to the other ones.
Yeah, like we want to put all the classes super high, but we're not saying it's bad. We're just saying comparatively, because we got to put things in every level of this tier list, don't we?
If I get first choice to play any class I want, I'm gonna choose anything above a monk. But if it's the only thing left, I'll play a monk. Sure, yeah.
Oh man, I think I would play a ranger over a monk, even though I'm not sure which I consider a better class or not.
I definitely say ranger over monk.
Just like for fun and roleplay, maybe, but I don't know if it's a better class. But
we'll get to that in a second. But Gloomstalker is rogue. I mean, ranger's only saving grace.
Yeah, much like that one. Monks don't have many saving graces.
Yeah, so I'm F tier or D.
I'm on D, but I'm on down.
I mean, it's on bottom too, and there's 12 classes. I guess that should go to F. In my mind, at least.
Yeah, I'm okay with F. I feel
like until we get to Artificer.
Yeah, I was like, another one of my bottom 3 for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Paladin.
Darn it, these heavy martial classes all feel so similar to me.
Paladin is, but the thing about Paladin is Divine Smite, high AC.
Level 20, you get 100 healing points.
Yeah, 100 healing points. Paladin's awesome. Paladin's a great class.
I actually really like Paladin. From what I've been building recently, I'm
Paladin's awesome.
High AC, high HP, really good spells, very strong attack, good abilities.
I think
are they above Barbarian and Fighter?
Oh,
I think so.
Are they above Cleric?
No.
No.
They might be on the same level.
I don't think I can put a Paladin above Cleric.
I think because War Cleric
9th level spells,
I have to say it's below Cleric. I think the problem with that Paladin has is like the social idea that it's like, oh, all the Paladin is just some really holy guy with a sword. It's like, but that's pretty bare. And like I said, there's a lot of ways you can play a Paladin.
Yeah,
and the fact that Paladins don't get their oath from their god, don't get the prowess from their god, but they get them from the oath, like the loyalty to their oath. I mean, heck, in my one shot, Dark played a Paladin that didn't even have a god. He played was like something like a warrior paladin or something like that. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah.
And it was cool. I power killed him for the fun of it, but it was cool.
I was like, I have a massive love for Paladin because it was the first class I played, so I'm very biased toward that.
I've seen some very overpowered Paladins. They're really good.
I think it's a very good class.
I mean, think about it this way: it took my fighter and Ricky's Barbarian essentially 2v1ing Mario's Paladin to take that out first because that was our like worst enemy.
Yeah.
Because it was so hard to hit. So
I mean, I think about that. They have the same AC potential as a fighter, though. And they have
Oh, I
less
mean,
health than a
sure.
barbarian. Well, I guess if you
Mhm.
count the lay on hand, it's equal to a barbarian health at the end of the day.
I was a full-on barbarian max level. It took a lot.
yeah, no.
Any one of those three classes at that level, it's going to take a lot.
I would put it high B.
Yeah, I would say it's above fighter, but not above cleric. Because war cleric is essentially a better, like a better version of paladin. But
I
a way
think
to
I can
play
accept
cleric
that
and
just because I
paladin.
like spellcasting.
I
Yeah.
feel like the paladin can have close, like decently good spells, but has a better attack. It's like
Close
some
spells
of
to
the-
what, though?
I mean, dude,
Like you can get
sometimes
inflict
though,
wounds, you can get kill wounds, you can get hellish rebuke.
Every
you
class can get half
solid
those, though.
spells.
Yeah, those are
I
very
mean,
common.
Yeah,
I think a paladin spell list is one of the worst spell lists.
divine.
it's
Smite.
very one-dimensional. Divine Smite's another spell.
We were kind of just talking about beforehand, like, oh yeah,
I'm not-
level.
Divine
Like,
Smite
why
is
would you?
essentially
You don't need anything
just-
beyond your level 1 spells, really.
Yeah.
Divine Smite is just more damage, which fighters get for free without spending a resource.
Yeah. I think the difference though is paladin that is again radiant damage. So situationally,
can be
very very
situationally
Yeah,
good.
better.
Curse of Strahd, Paladin's better than most
Yes.
clerics.
Fighter, 100%.
If this was
yeah.
Curse of Strahd, then Cleric and Paladin would be A tier all day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's
I
gonna be
think
the
in
hard one about
general-
Bloodhunter. Like, how good is that gonna be? Since we've only seen it in Strahd.
true, and we're only seeing it at a low level, and I'm gonna have some interesting
I
remarks
have-
about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I
Yeah,
stand high.
paladin also. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Scrooge.
I think
Paladins has too many concentration spells, so it's hard. I think
Alright.
paladin's good, but I don't think it's great.
That is interesting, though, how we all find those three heavy martial classes to all be so close.
I think it's because they're
it-
very similar in idea, just slightly different in execution.
It's literally, what do I feel like playing today? Like, which one of the 3 forks do I want to go?
Mm-hmm.
All right. This one's be fun. Richie, give us your opinion on Ranger.
Oh, here we are.
I haven't gotten to the later levels yet, but I do feel like Ranger falls off. Very like it's very
It's
good
a
in-
D tier.
Falls off even more?
Did he ever get on the road in the first place?
I
I
just
think
want to
once you
talk.
once you hit like 6, multi-class.
I think after you get your subclass and go Gloomstalker.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Gloomstalker has some good stuff at 6.
Listen, there's only one class that beats Ranger in terms of multi-class as quickly as possible.
Oh,
I-
dear.
I think as a standalone class, it's low.
Even the RP of Ranger is kind of like, oh, I see footprints.
Yeah, you're somehow a worse fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fighter, like an arcane fighter is just a better ranger.
Mm-hmm.
This
A bow fighter is just a
Oh, cool.
better
At level
ranger.
14, you get what Rose can do as a bonus action hide.
Woo!
Or you could just subclass into a rogue. warrior.
Exactly, and get that in 2 levels instead of 14.
Honestly,
Now, I will
I
say,
think, I think you Ranger and then you subclass into Fighter and Rogue.
Oh, yeah, I got a buddy doing that right now, and he's
You
broken.
go all the way.
Has anyone seen a ranger go to 20?
no.
Unless, like,
All
you're
I-
forced to do that, no.
All I have to say is the first time Richie ever played D&D, he played Ranger and he never used his bow. That's how I feel about Ranger.
Well, Side gave me a special weapon. What am
Yeah,
I
that's the
No, no,
reason
no,
why
no.
I was.
I
It's
didn't-
a +1. It's not. Shouldn't change your entire
It was
game
better.
mechanic.
It wasn't just a +1.
I'm playing +1 AC, but still.
Let's just say Side gave you 2 arrows that were supposed to be used specifically for one part of the game, and we never used them. We just
Mhm.
avoided it at all costs because the bow is so bad.
It actually wasn't that bad when we got to the later point. It did
Yeah,
kind
will
of
say-
quite
No, you started using it because we gave you so much crap about it.
well, and because I was close to dying a lot, so I was like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
stay back here for a while.
I will
But once
say,
again,
we
you
have
can just
seen-
do that with a fighter. Like, you got nothing special from it.
I
Yeah,
have
look, that was
seen.
my first campaign. Leave me alone.
No, yeah, you're good. And then we got
I've
Killius out
seen-
here.
I've seen firsthand what a Ranger Rogue multi-class can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does lots of damage, but that's because of the Rogue.
Yeah, 2
Yes.
attacks with sneak attack damage at good range and consistent.
Yeah.
So, with
I
a
think
side of
all,
spellcasting.
And even like the spellcasting of Rangers is so minimal because every other. If
I
you
feel
want
like
to play
it's
a
similar to
spellcaster,
Paladin.
just play spellcaster if you're gonna play Ranger to spellcast. Like,
Yeah,
that's
you
it.
get spellcasting, but it's not a primary focus. of
Yeah,
it.
like,
If you want to spellcast as a Ranger, play a Druid.
Cool, I got Hunter's Mark. Basically the only spell you drop the entire game.
Hunter's Mark is same as Divine Smite. You know, it's just a spell slot you use for damage.
This is
Yeah.
why I kind of like Hail of Thorns. It's something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an
Hail of
actual
Thorns is-
spell that fits in with your character.
Yeah, it's
it
great
works.
until you realize you're hitting all of your allies. Also,
Yeah, you
not-
never
Yeah,
used it
until you
effectively,
kill a
yes,
kid.
But
Yeah, it's like it's Hail of Thorns
good old
until you're killing your teammates.
You know, sometimes you gotta make sacrifices.
Hail of Thorns is like I drop Fireball on my team.
It
That's
doesn't
not that
have to
bad.
be though.
All right,
you don't
Mario.
have to shoot it next to your allies.
That's-
There's- you can target other people with it, guys.
Nope,
It
allies
can
only.
be used correctly.
well, there's only one enemy.
Then don't use it.
Exactly. Then it becomes useless.
It seems we're all on the same page of
That's a
base
D.
class
Yeah.
awful.
Deer?
Multi-class
No.
is pretty good.
I'm
Yeah.
Multi-classing
Yeah,
is good.
this is yeah,
because you're doing the other class stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
If the primary focus of your class isn't ranger, your character might be good.
Yeah.
So you tell me,
Listen.
a ranger's only good if you don't play a ranger. Got it.
Rangers, everyone who plays Rangers is like, man, I watched Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna be Legolas, and then they realize it's
They
not
call
that.
Aragorn a ranger too.
And it's
That
not
must
that.
be good.
It's not that. It's not even close to
I
that.
really
Like,
thought it was gonna be a Dunedain.
if
What
you're
is
gonna
it?
play, if you want to be Aragorn, just play a fighter that uses a good two-handed weapon. Like, it's so sad.
Aragorn
Yeah.
actually tracks stuff and heals people though.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, that's true. I guess Ranger gets cure wounds.
Yeah, cure wounds.
Oh, that's S
For a
tier right
ranged
there.
class that is
S
100
tier.
feet
You know what?
behind and has to run up and
Ranger's
punch
that
the
bad.
wall.
It's S tier. It's not even on screen.
I don't know. I think it's above Monk.
It's hard to say.
I don't have much experience with Monk.
Yeah, no, I'll give it
Playing
to you.
Ranger, I think it's above Monk.
It's definitely better than Monk.
It's
Honestly,
better
I'll
than
put 'em-
barely.
I
at
want to
least
put them
you're not
both in
getting-
F and then not worry about those two ever again on this list.
There's worse.
I think okay, what is the level 20th ability for Ranger? Let's see.
I don't
Foe
know.
Slayer. At 20th level, you become an unparalleled hunter of your enemies. Cool. You can add your wisdom modifier to the attack roll, the damage roll of an attack, once on each of your turns. So it's multiple times in a round.
Honestly, that's not
Uh,
bad if you have high wisdom.
So it's still better than the level 20th monk thing.
But no, it has to be your favorite enemy though.
Yeah,
Okay,
true.
so it's probably never going to be used. But
Never ever gonna be used. Unless you're
if you're
DM
just going to be
though.
one of those rangers who favors the enemy, dragons, and dragons are going to be a boss, then boom,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
useful.
yeah. Oh, playing
Unless
Curse
you-
of Strahd, my favorite enemy is undead.
Undead.
Then I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm good.
that'll
if you
get
wanted-
us into the Blood Hunter
not-
conversation
The
as
difference
well.
though is if you wanted to play Curse of Strahd and wanted to have do good against undead, just play Paladin. Just play Paladin.
Well, you can choose any class and then specify how you go down the line to make it good against certain enemies.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew how I was playing Kilius. There's the reason he's still alive, and everyone else is dead.
Look at you left.
Even when I was ready to die, he's still alive. But no, I have plans. The next upgrade,
Alright.
it's gonna be a multi-class.
Alright.
So
Well, up
I-
I
next.
can leave it
I
there
did-
for now. but-
Yeah.
I think Ranger is better
probably
than
going
Monk
down.
because it doesn't have to run up and get itself killed just to play the game.
No, you're right. So here now we have a contender for the Bard spot, Rogue.
I like rogues.
It's not A.
No, you
It's
don't
not
think?
A. It's above Cleric. But the thing about Rogue is like I use the dagger and my Rogue class mitigates everything else. What do? I sneak attack. That's
Sneak
it.
attack that, like, why do people want to put a rogue that high?
Sneak attack.
Is that better damage to the fighter?
Oh, 100. If potential, yes.
I don't think so.
Potentially.
Sneak attack.
And if
is
you miss your
your
attack,
escape
if you're
order.
fighting a high level boss enemy,
I think the thing about Rogue is it isn't as one dimensional as a fighter.
Mhm.
Although everyone plays
yeah, there's
Rogue is
other
just
qualities of it for sure.
the edgy thief guy, but that's not always true. That's not every rogue. I think the thing about rogue that is interesting is all the subclasses make you
Yes.
play the role very differently.
Are there any good subclasses for Rogue though? Like Arcane-
Assassin's awesome.
Arcane Trickster
obviously.
is basically like the only thing played. I see.
It's
Arcane
very common,
Trickster's
just because
cool.
it's fun.
Yeah, Arcane Tricks
It's
is
fun.
great.
Phantom's
Soul Knife is cool.
Soul Knife is awesome. I love Soul Knife.
I think Soul Knife is really cool.
I did it in the one shot. I did enjoy Insightful.
True, that was really good.
Yeah, that mixed with the
I
Bard
feel-
giving me a good insight check. like made
Was
it
it
good.
Insightful or was it Inquisitive?
Inquisitive, that's what it was.
Yeah. Phantom is a cool one. I just never seen people play it, but it's like a role play aspect. Phantom's an awesome
I
one.
think Phantom is what my next rogue is set to actually.
And then of course there's Swashbuckler, which is a really cool one as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Swashbuckler's a really cool subclass.
I have a swashbuckler.
And they're all different. I don't think you play a Swashbuckler like you play an assassin.
Very much so.
Swashbuckler is far more like fighty.
Oh
like,
yeah, they do all play different.
Swashbuckler's the better fighter.
No, it's not.
No.
But
You don't think so?
No.
I think the thing though is
I
like
don't think rogue can match the damage of any of those 3 martial classes
So-
in B.
so. I think
But
about- I think
they
about
have
it
other
this way.
qualities.
I
I
will
think about
say,
it this way. At 20th level, my Echo Knight fighter had 11 possible attacks in a turn, and that was because of the subclass. So I had 5 extra attacks just from the subclass in a turn. So you get about 6 attacks a turn with
Mhm.
action surge, right, or something like that.
Mhm.
And those aren't always guaranteed to hit. Here's the thing: at level 20th rogue, all they have to do is hit once, and they do 10d6 sneak attack damage.
Yeah.
if you crit, that's 20d6.
It's 20d6.
I mean, a
sneak
lot of
attack.
things get. I don't think you should rely on crits
But yeah.
to.
But
That's the thing.
I think just the
every
base level
class
damage.
works really well for it to have survivability. as
I think
well.
its damage can be really high, also can be really low.
Mhm.
But I don't think it's worse than a fighter.
I think it's way better.
I don't think it's better than a
Hmm.
bard because I think the value of a bard is just.
I
so
don't
much
think it's
higher.
better than a cleric.
I think it's better than a cleric.
I think it's better than cleric too.
I think
I
it's
I think there's
I think it's
debatably a
okay.
lot more fun, and I love the skills and expertise aspect of it.
Yeah.
You know, it hits me right in the bard, same spot bard does.
Yeah,
But
I think it's low A.
I think playing a rogue is pretty interesting.
I put rogue and bard on like the same tier list because just they're basically one and the same. Like you said, expertise and all
Bard's
that.
better.
Jack of all trades. I'll give it to you. Bard,
Yeah.
so much better.
they both have the skills pretty much
Mhm.
on
Yeah.
par of being really good at what they do. At least when it comes to
Also-
skills and that level of the game.
And like with things like evasion and uncanny dodge, those can get kind of.
No, those are really good. At
At
the same time, though, if you're getting attacked from multiple sources,
of course,
Yeah, you only get that
well,
one reaction, but in most
It's
yeah.
usually because you put yourself in a bad place, though. If you're
That's
if
true.
you're surrounded as a rogue, that means you did something really wrong. You
Yeah.
probably failed a stealth check, which is very uncommon.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think rogue is better than cleric because I think again it's
Yeah.
in the case of
Yeah.
there's a lot of versatility, a lot of different ways to play it.
I also think
And I
rogue is just
don't
something you
think it's
often
hard.
multi-class out of to get
Yeah,
benefits
but
of
like,
another class.
I mean, yeah,
thing.
don't get me wrong, going level 20 rogue is good. But how often are you gonna go that full thing? Like we after six
Probably,
after
yeah.
6 you dip out.
To be fair, there's a lot of classes you could say you're probably not going to go level 20.
Oh, unless you're forced to, whoever goes level 20 in it, the whole way.
Any spellcaster.
Yeah, I'd say Warlock, maybe if you're really that determined to go to 20 levels.
100%. Like I'm hitting 9th level spells if I play a spellcaster.
But
I'm not
like
multi-classing.
Sorcerer, Wizard, yeah. Or they're level
Mm.
21s. Even Druid, I'd say multi-class until at least Cleric.
Yeah, maybe druids can multi-class. but-
Druid, multi-class. If you're going healing Druid, multi-class in the life domain, you're doing so much healing. It's like the, it's
I
ridiculous.
feel like we have to like kind of look at that though.
No,
Because
yeah, it's definitely part of it.
spellcasters go to it. I feel like we need to look at the potential of a rogue.
I mean, look at
and
level
multi-class
20.
into fighter or a ranger.
I mean,
Yeah,
we don't obviously you
it's
never
even
see
better.
this, but the level 20 ability for rogue is really good.
It's
That's
struggle.
true. I don't think I've ever looked at it or known.
Yeah, stroke of luck.
Uh,
At level 20, you have the uncanny knack for succeeding when you need to. If your attack misses a target within range, you can turn the miss into a hit. Alternatively, if you fail an ability check, you can make the d20 roll a 20
How often can
Yeah.
I do that?
once a day.
One.
Well,
Okay.
short rest. Nope, short rest.
I was like,
Oh, sure,
every
okay,
short
better.
rest. So you can either miss all of your fighter attacks, or you can just hit one 10d6 sneak attack. Its burst potential is a lot easier, but a lot lower. Because like obviously, if you hit 8 fighter attacks, you're dealing massive damage. Like especially if you have like bonuses to your hits and stuff like that, magical weapons, the fighter is dealing like hundreds of damage in a single hit
Yeah.
if they hit every single one.
I'm just saying I'd be just as happy with
Variants.
critting on like a paladin.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
100%.
Same concept.
Alright.
You pump
I
divine
mean, you hit
smite
on a
here.
paladin, yeah, you pump in some divine
Yeah.
smite, maybe a branding
I
smite.
mean,
and
plus
just-
in the RP factor with reliable talent, allowing all your ability checks to be a 10 or higher.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about reliable talent. Like, it makes sense for a character who's good at something to be good at it, but that's no
Yeah.
fun. I love ones. I love low rolls. I love bad rolls.
Yeah.
But that, yeah.
I think
Says-
outside
an
of
argument
like,
in either
Says the
direction.
board.
I mean, assassin I think is
Fair.
the most common played rogue outside of arcane trickster.
Yeah.
And as far as like your other stuff, you get some pretty decent like rogue's archetype stuff too. So yeah, you can double the damage with assassin because of death strike.
All right.
So
So are we saying
think it's
above
A.
I mean,
Cleric
everyone
B
loves rogues,
or
so
below
if you want to
Bard
put 'em in
A?
I think that's the
people
other
are gonna
thing
be
too.
upset.
I think rogues are really easy to play.
I think
Yeah,
if
they're super
anything's
easy to
going
play. Really good for beginners, and everyone loves them. You know,
Yeah,
it's always
I think
fun to
it's
have
A.
a rogue in a party.
I think it's an A. I think it's like if there isn't a rogue in a party, it's almost more surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Like, there's a reason I never really considered myself playing rogue is because I feel like someone's always going to want to play rogue, and I don't want to take that away from them.
Yeah, like
exactly.
Tales of Olympus was like a weird situation where we had no
Yeah,
rogue,
I was like,
and
wait,
I'm
we
like,
don't have a rogue. We had a ranger and a bard, which essentially can add
maybe
up to the same thing.
yes.
but-
Two to make one. Sad.
You know,
Plus
I probably would have made it. To
all the
rogue
other
eventually.
things. Yeah, true.
I would have gotten there eventually.
Imagine now, rogue fighter.
At the same time, that's just saying those classes can do half the things a rogue can, but certainly not all the things.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
Mhm.
Next up, we got Sorcerer.
Yes, we do.
IMO, the best spellcaster in the game.
It's hard to say.
I'm between that and a Warlock, but yeah,
What? See, I have one problem with Warlock.
the spell slots.
No, it's either you go level 1 or you go level 20. There's no in between.
Yeah.
You can go level 3 maybe just to get your Eldritch Invocations in, or level 2, I mean. But if you're going more, if you're going into like levels 3 through
Three. I think 3 you get your packs,
19,
right?
3, yeah, you get your pack, but most of the packs are kind of eh.
Pack to the
But yeah,
blade,
I
the only one
suppose-
you need.
Yeah,
but we're
I
on
feel like-
sorcerer right now. so-
Sorcerer, yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as Sorcerer goes, I think meta magic is like everything a spellcaster could ever want.
I know
the
casting
ability to
multiple spells in the same round is huge. and
Twin
you can
spell.
really combo that up.
Quicken spell. Oh, it's so good. There's a reason why Sorlock is one of the best link casters.
It's true,
like,
very common.
multi-classes in the game.
Multi-class.
Yeah, 17 levels of Sorcerer, 18 levels of Sorcerer. 2
Yeah,
levels
I
of
don't know how I
Warlock.
feel. I gut reaction feel like it's another thing I want to slap in B,
Yeah.
but
we may need to start dropping some stuff down to C
we're gonna
tier.
need to move a lot of stuff around later on.
Yeah, I think we'll need to push some B stuff down to C. Barbarian.
Yeah, even fighter.
This is why I said barbarian and C
Fighter
from the
is-
get go.
Is this the one class that I never made? Ever?
Sorcerer?
I think I did.
To be
make a
fair,
Sorcerer.
one of my favorite characters I've made is the Sorcerer.
I thought I did.
It's also quite literally the Firehawk from Borderlands, but
Hmm.
Oh, I think I know.
I think I've always kind of looked at sorcerer as a less interesting wizard, but an easier wizard, more accessible wizard, and they get a whole bunch of other cool abilities as well.
Because I made Rian.
I
The
will
gamble
say-
side of me loves the wild magic.
Yeah, like,
it
like
don't.
anything wild magic, I'm gonna have a good time with, but I don't think that's
It's
like
fun, but it is
mathematically and
so
stuff.
bad.
It's not good, but
Yeah.
Oh
it's
no,
fun.
not at all. I mean, like we saw Bell had that weapon, and I was looking at, I had to look at the table constantly. 90% of the stuff was like, oh, it's useless.
Yeah, most of it does nothing, but
So I'm leaning toward, probably B tier for me.
I mean, the other thing too, things like empowered spell, like it's what
I
makes.
think I'm willing to
Sorcerer
put him in a C.
different.
Oh yeah, you think you'd rather play a barbarian than a sorcerer?
well, me personally, no. But I also said barbarian C from the get go. That being said,
Alright, so
think
then
I'm down to
then
move
fighter.
I think I'm down to move barbarian to C.
fighter and sorcerer might be in a similar will to play for me.
All right, so we're gonna go move
I don't have a good
barbarian
opinion
down.
on this one.
Yeah,
If we want to move barbarian down now, that's cool.
the
Yeah.
one thing that definitely hurts a sorcerer is usually spell list and
Yeah, I
how many
think
spells
Wizards
you
just
know.
got obviously a better spell list.
Wizards have the best spell
Yeah,
list. Like,
yeah, that's an unfair argument. that
I'll
being
counter
said.
argument. They have too much, which makes them bad.
It was so hard to make a level 20 wizard.
yeah,
It was
Right.
so hard. I have to look at every spell in the game and choose some.
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
mess.
Okay.
If you play 1 to 20, you're gonna be fine. It's gonna be a great time. You're gonna develop naturally. But
All at once though, no. So yeah, sorcerer. We're saying below fighter.
well,
yeah, I think sorcerers are B tier.
I think once we get everything on the field, we'll get to like compare and contrast things and move
Yeah,
things
I think
around.
for now, I think put sorcerer B. I don't think it's an A tier. I think there's some really obvious.
No, I don't think there's anything
Wacky.
else. Anything else that could hit A tier.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think for me it would be clerics would be the only one with a chance, but to even out the list,
yeah.
it's probably where it belongs.
All right. Warlock.
C tier.
Yeah, low C.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And I have a reason for it. Pack magic sucks.
Pack magic is sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Oh man,
You know,
I have 2 spells.
But
to
Eldritch
use
Blast.
today. Yeah, that does 50 damage.
I get a fireball with slightly less damage.
It's not even that, man. It, like 20th level fireball does. Or not fireball. Eldritch Blast
Firebolt,
is like
yeah.
fire. Yeah, Eldritch Blast is like average of like 30 damage. Maybe if you go your Eldritchification, you have to go an Eldritchification.
Yeah,
just
you know
to
what?
keep
Having
people-
more than 3 spell slots averages on damage at that level, Michael.
Yeah, I know. My point is, if you're gonna go that, just go wizard and drop like 2 fireballs. Have like still 90% of your spell slots left, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
I think it's really just the spell slots that hold it back. Now, in certain D&D campaigns where people do take more short rests, there's a lot of traditional campaigns that would be played like that. It would be very easy to have a warlock be more effective.
That's
But
what gives
way
them a
most
good
people see
saving
it
grace.
these days, everyone wants to have their full setup of abilities ready to go before a fight. Everyone wants to be topped off before a boss fight. Everyone wants to be ready to go.
Hey man, I know we just woke up like 5 minutes ago, but like, can we go back to bed?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
honestly, I'm
played
not a
Warlock
fan
once.
of that mentality.
Yeah, I gotta work on it a
I
lot.
always
but yeah.
try to stray away from long rests when it's not like
I've been noticing that
earned.
with Wild Beyond the Witchlight. You're like, maybe because you're playing a sorcerer, you're like, yeah, short rest.
Yeah, no, with the Warlock, of course, I'm
Warlock,
going to be
yeah.
pushing it extra in that one. But I think I push it a little bit more like when I can with the other ones. At least
think-
with things like my martial classes, you know, the Blood Hunter as well.
Yeah.
I think
'Cause
what makes, as far as Warlock, I think what makes Warlock interesting and not like as bad as Ranger or Monk is the multi-class ability. Just because Hexblade exists as a caster, you can actually kind of multi-class into Warlock as a fighter, or like as any other kind
Yeah,
of
and then
like,
get some
melee
basic
class.
spell casting mixed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you
Like-
can get things like Hexblade's Curse, which did like 30 some odd damage in one turn.
I'll be honest, I can't.
I like my Hexblade right now, but
I can't name another subclass for sorcerer. I mean, Warlock besides Hexblade.
There's
to get
Fiend,
familiar with one of them.
Like
There's
the old
Fae-
man.
Fiend Celestial. I believe
There's
there's
the
Fae as well.
the genie one that Devin's
Genie?
playing.
Genie's
that was
interesting.
new to
Genie
see.
is about the coolest one.
It is pretty cool. Yeah.
There's quite a lot actually. There's Archfey, there's Celestial, Fathomless, Fiend, Genie, Ghost in the Machine, which is not a normal one. It's for like specific campaigns. The Great Old One, which I believe was the one that I played.
Yeah, I believe it was. We
Hexblade,
flavored that onto
Bullhold,
Hermaeus Mora of Skyrim.
yeah, the Raven Queen, Seeker, Silverquill, Undead, Undying, and Witherbloom.
All right.
And most of them kind of suck. Outside of Hexblade, and Hexblade is probably one of the
Hexblade
best
just
ones.
like lets you do things that a caster normally can't do, which is kind of nice. But you still get all the spell slots and spell list of the Warlock. I think that's the only
And-
reason I was willing to play a Warlock, just because it's like, okay, at least I got this to fall back on when I run out of spells, and I don't have to just Eldritch Blast, 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 blast,
That's
blast.
the other thing too. Actually, it's Hexblade. You really don't want to go Eldritch Blast because it's kind of useless.
didn't,
especially if you're not
um,
going to go Eldritch Invocation.
Well, I didn't boost it at least. So yeah.
There's another spell. It's called like Green Flame Sword or something like that.
Mhm.
Flaming Sword of Green or something. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, it is
which
Green
really,
Flame Sword.
really
Yeah.
good as Hexblade.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The other thing about Warlock that's kind of difficult is the RP aspect because you have a patron that gives you all your powers.
It
So
can
if
be
you-
insanely
if
good
you
RP though if
screw
you do
off
it
the
right.
patron,
It's like a paladin in
you
a
lose
certain
all your
way.
powers. Yeah, it's paladin.
It can
but-
RP like a reverse paladin.
It's a paladin, but at least I don't have a sword, so if I lose all my powers, I do nothing.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the downside.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Uh,
that's a reasonable spot for it to be.
See.
No.
All right, next up we got Wizard, and I'll be the first to say D tier.
It's a weird position because if you want to play high end D&D and want to
You need
do
a
it
wizard.
completely right, Wizard could easily be A tier. I think Wizard is obviously the best spellcaster because it's made to be the best spellcaster. But
I don't have much experience with Wizard.
I'll-
But
I'll-
one thing that is bizarre to me for Wizard, as far as it is usually the fact that you have to pick the school of magic that you're mostly into, which feels weird.
it is a different level of the
Yeah.
roleplay. One that in my two Wizard characters I've completely avoided.
Yeah,
I
it's
went
like-
for like different kind of subclasses.
It's like, yeah, I'm an abjuration wizard, and
Actually,
I have
no,
all
yeah,
these cool
true.
spells, and none of them are abjuration.
Yeah, it's one
So
thing.
I
Like, if
can't
I
use them.
if I ever play a wizard, like I'm sticking to whatever school of divination I go into. All my spells will be from that.
Actually, to be fair, my level 20 wizard that I played, it was abjuration, and that was pretty much what made that character OP. The abilities he got from that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think. Well, I mean, it was more. I don't know what the actual abjuration spells are. I haven't looked into the entire story.
counterspell.
Counterspell.
But like, in general, though, I think what makes wizards really cool is if they don't play with an arcane focus. I think if they're playing with
True.
components, it's really cool.
It's
very
really
high
hard,
fantasy.
but really good.
It's really high fantasy. It's really cool. It's like everything you want your spellcaster to be, as far as like the RP and the style and the aesthetic. It's like, yeah, I'm just a dude with a book, and I'm shooting stuff through fans with my gunpowder in one hand and my fire starter in the other, and now I have a wall of fire. It's
Mhm.
that's dope to me. So it's cooler than a sorcerer for that reason, but I don't think it's stronger. than
It's
a
really easy to not play a cool wizard, though.
sorcerer. Yeah, it's like
You have to
I
try hard to
use
play a
some-
cool wizard.
The other
Yeah.
thing is fireball. What do you use? I'm gonna fireball. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'll
think
be the
sorcerers and wizards have that in common.
I'll be the first to say I have a small boy brain, and wizards just are too complex for me.
Yeah, I generally, claim to have a big boy brain, I suppose. And even then, at least a high level wizard was a lot.
Yeah,
So, wizard is a challenge to play. It's not for new characters if they want to do it right. It's not for new players if they want to do it right. I think it does have like the highest potential of any class of what you can do and how much fun you can have with it, but it's work. So I'm
Yeah,
willing to defer to you guys a little bit.
I think it's.
I've never
I
played
think-
one.
Imagine you've played some spell, or actually, yeah, you just said you have only just
I've
made your first
barely played.
spellcaster. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I've used spells, but I've never played a
Yeah,
full-on spell.
Consider the difficulties of spellcasting, picking spells and using them in the right time, and
See,
then think of that to its highest and hardest level.
Yeah.
to the person
The only
who's
thing I
played-
made was a blade singing wizard.
See,
Yeah.
here's I have
And
a
that's
problem.
literally Hexblade.
I have a problem with blade singing wizard. Right? It's the equivalent. It's the wizard's equivalent of the Eldritch Knight fighter. It's like, why? You've just said, you know what? This entire identity of
I
this
looked at it as a
class
wizard
is out the
Hexblade.
window.
You still get all the spells.
Yeah, okay, sure. But like,
You don't have to do that. That's a backup
if you wanted
plan
to
if you want
play,
it to be.
I think the thing is, like, if you wanted to play somebody that uses a blade, play a fighter,
Mhm.
and pick up a few spellcasting feats, or
But
play Eldritch
the
Knight.
thing with like blade singing, it's kind of better to be able to dodge while also using your spells. Gives you more,
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. But like,
I've looked at Blazing. It seems pretty cool.
and you get an extra attack.
I think
Yeah, I
think-
mean, anyone that uses a fighting should get an extra attack, to be fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
Except Rogue, who get this dice. So
I think
mean,
there's
I really
yeah.
don't know.
in general, I think like I think Wizard has a lot of cool potential, but I also think it falls into too many cliches as well.
it's very easy to fall into cliches.
I feel like we can put it in D as like a more experienced class.
so is that above Ranger or below?
I have a hard time putting it below Warlock, personally.
Yeah, I have to put it above Warlock, but still in C tier.
Okay.
Okay.
I think Druid is still better, more versatile. Because at
Yeah.
least Druid is like, hi, wild
I
shape.
think
It's
I
a thing that
consider
has-
Druid and Wizard in a similar position, so that sounds reasonable to me.
I think the thing about Druid is though, like wild shape gives you a bunch of extra health, and the Wizard
It gives
does
you more
have,
options, yeah.
a Wizard. The meme about Wizard is I've taken a D4 of damage and now I'm dead. So
It's the same for Sorcerer, that being said. But
yeah, but I think Sorcerer has a lot more ability to evade that stuff though, like help
So
out.
now it gets complicated.
not really, it's just that one of the Sorcerer subclasses gives you
Artificer is-
AC.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Next up, we got everyone's favorite class, immediate A tier, Artificer.
You know,
oh, we're
A-
there now.
I might have more experience here.
Okay.
with,
I mean, I've never made
I've
one,
been
so
looking into it a lot.
I've looked into it. So, okay, let's look at the bright sides. If you go down certain routes, you get to wear decent armor, like a Cleric. You don't necessarily get to do a lot of melee damage. So from that aspect, it's like a Cleric. But you get
Yeah.
spell casting, which is great. But
You
it's
get
only up
cantrips.
to
Better than a
level
Paladin.
5 spells.
you could
So-
have a pet with you that makes you waste your bonus action to do anything.
And you can build a
like a
or you can
Beastmaster
build a
Ranger.
turret. You could build a turret as
I
well.
don't-
Yeah.
I think
Or you can make
Artificer is
grenades.
The spellcaster that actually wants the multi-class.
Or you could just be a
But
team.
yeah, I think so, because obviously, I mean, it's hard to. Artificer is a full spellcaster, but it's hard to look at him like it when it can't get to
Yeah,
9th level
I feel
spells.
I put him on
Yeah.
par like Paladin to an extent, where like
Like,
Yeah,
It's
very
like,
much so.
I'm a paladin that has less attack, like just straight up outright damage, but I do
Better
more
spell potential, but
Yeah.
yeah, without the attacks to back you up. I don't know.
I
Also,
like the alchemist class.
I don't know too much about the
And I think
different
the
subclasses.
artillerist. I think the armor and the battlesmith, they suck. They're not good.
Yeah,
Don't-
I think the armor can be good, but it's weird to flavor that into most games. You get a mech suit essentially.
I think
Yeah.
artillerist is probably like the quintessential artificer. I built a turret in the middle of the battlefield.
Artillerist is the damage.
Yeah, but
Artillerist is damage.
I feel like it's like people's like, oh, I'm gonna play artificer so I can craft magical weapons and stuff for my team.
And that's
Or
kind of
stuff like
in
that.
there. That's kind of fun. It's just
I think
Or you
alchemy-
could pick up tinkering tools and learn how to do that in the campaign. It's like,
that's
why go into a class just to do that?
I mean, yeah,
I
you
will
you
say-
get a free bag of holding basically with them, but it's like
If
cool.
if you
Yeah,
play Artificer
Most teams
right,
are not
it's
upset.
probably
about
one
it.
of the most interesting to RP. I think.
could be.
I think it could be very because you've got this kind of character, especially if you're playing something where you could even be like a Warforged, even more interesting.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. I
Warforged
don't know if I'd love
artificer
that RP though.
is
Obviously,
interesting.
there's a lot that can be done with it, but I don't think like that
think
type
it
of
would
RP would
work.
appeal to me the
You-
most.
You're not a fan of Warforged in general, though, right?
No, not generally. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's in a campaign where that fits better, then yes. But I think
Just
I'm.
a cycle,
Hey-
imagine like a League of Legends campaign. I think this is a great class for that.
This is the origin of this game. Yes, I get it. Right? I don't know how I feel about Artificer. I think Artificer is really great for some games and really awful for quite a lot of games. I think it really depends on the campaign, the style of the campaign. Like, I think in a world where tech, like a steampunk, like type of setting, Artificer legendary,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because then
amazing.
like your skills are going
Greatest
to be
class.
utilizable outside of the class abilities as
Yeah.
well.
Exactly right. It's
The
like
right
this is so
campaign,
cool.
it's a great class.
Yeah,
But I think
Mhm.
that's why it's one of the extra special classes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can put.
So
the
for
thing
that
is, like,
reason, I'm willing to raise it up to D tier.
No,
Yeah.
I would rather play Monk over Artificer any day.
Personally, I would rather play Artificer over Monk, but I also
Okay, I'll meet you in the
From our
middle.
monk player.
I'll meet you in the middle.
Listen, I will never
F tier.
remember, I will never forget. Okay, I will literally never forget in that one fight where I died, chasing her around for about 20 minutes, just for her to turn around, hit me, and I die.
That's what monks do.
At 20th level, the Artificer basically gets Horcrux.
Like an Acme. Like,
You get Horcruxes?
At
Yeah.
level 20, the Artificer gets Horcruxes.
Wizards
So,
can do that too.
when you die,
Yeah.
you just come back.
if you're a
Wizards
wizard,
can make a clone of themselves that is just
Wizards-
with you at all times.
yeah, simulacrum. If you're a wizard, just become a lich.
Yeah, I just think wizards are the spellcaster. This is the utility of
Side.
spellcasters.
No, I'm just
It's
thinking.
so-
I'm thinking about the next one. Alriady.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna
Let's
say
hear it.
Artificer is still F. I think it's too
B.
situational. I think it's too situational.
I'd put it below Ranger.
Here's the
I
thing.
Eh,
Here's the thing.
Those are
We
all just
played it-
one category. D and F
we-
kind of just go together.
We played an entire
We know
game.
our bottom three here.
Yeah,
Here's
it's
the-
bad.
Here's my problem, right, with Artificer. Is Mario played Artificer in Tales of Olympus. And what did he craft for us? A 3-pound compass.
Stones, a lot of stones.
What else?
Rocky talkies.
No,
You
we
found
them.
those, and then he reconstructed them.
Yeah, he made more, right?
Yeah, he made more,
sure.
but it wasn't his original like idea.
So my point is,
And let's
we
clarify that was a
very
buffed
rarely-
Artificer because it was also using rules from another
Yeah,
book as well.
and then we
I
have Dark doing
also-
it, who doesn't do anything with the abilities.
I also have to be, as a person who played a druid in that game, pretty upset how that went.
think
I
he could've
used my ability of
played
spike
better
growth.
and
All
done
right.
better. I don't think he remembered to do it. Like, he can infuse items a lot more than he did. and
I think the problem was we didn't spend enough time in places where you could infuse.
Yeah,
items.
it feels a weird thing.
It was a
from
campaign that didn't really support that as well.
from a DM
Yeah,
perspective.
this
It's
is my
like,
point.
how do you get time to like
think
craft
in-
stuff properly?
In a short campaign, it doesn't work. In like a long campaign, 3 to 20, I think Artificer can be
Time
super
skips,
valuable.
play an Artificer.
Yeah.
Like if it's like,
I think
oh, there's a
long
time skip
campaigns,
between.
really good class.
Imagine in a campaign where there's a year time skip between one session and the next because something big happened. So they just all go their separate ways for a year. So the next session happens a year later. The Artificer comes in like gifts of magical items because he's been working on them for a year. You know?
Yeah, hey, that works. But like I said, and most of our campaigns are very short /
So that's
that-
what I'm
not
saying.
that
I
ex-
think Artificer is great, but it's far too situational.
I do think we need to remember that, though, because it's an extra class. It's not base D&D.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? What is it? What is the?
It came from the what?
Was it Tasha's?
No,
Yes.
Yeah, it was Tasha's Cauldron
It
of
was
Everything.
Tasha's.
I think
Oh,
that's the
wow.
one that officially added it, yeah.
I think it was,
because
I
it's
think it
got,
was in
like,
the
special
Eberron
spells
book.
and that. The spells in
True,
that
I think it was in both, actually.
It was also Unearthed Arcana as well. There's an Unearthed Arcana version.
Well, Earth Arcana is just before it gets fully released.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that
Um,
specific
Tasha's,
campaign
though.
makes it very, very good.
See, the way I see it, I think, honestly, and from a Wizards of the Coast perspective, they just wanted another class to use intelligence based.
No, I think I said I think Artificer has the
I think it's
really. I think it's too much of a range of being really cool or completely useless as a class.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my opinion on it, personally.
So I think it's hard to judge these classes the same way. 'Cause I
True.
don't think they weren't made to be in every situation.
Yeah,
That's right.
Well, speaking of every situation, the very last one, who
Oh,
we've only seen in the best scenario.
We have seen in a very specific scenario that has
This
put it
is-
in all the best light.
This is the one that's not on here.
Blood Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blood Hunter.
Speaking
Uh,
of classes that
That is because
are in there
Blood
for
Hunter-
intelligence, it was funny.
Really?
Blood Hunter was originally made as wisdom based spellcasting, but then it eventually switched to intelligence, and it can only be because there's not enough that uses
Blood-
intelligence.
So what's
Blood-
the difference between classic Blood Hunter and 2020 Blood Hunter?
More playtesting, I guess, more honing.
Which one? are you
Old
playing?
Blood Hunter was terrible. That's the answer.
Okay.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
Now, in our current Curse of Strahd campaign, I play a Blood Hunter made to hunt the undead, which is, a great focus for a Blood Hunter character.
Yeah, but
Um,
even like
He's
'Cause,
able to
okay,
do radiant damage, multiple
so
attacks, and special
I'm-
abilities.
I'm almost positive Blood Hunter comes out as part of the same equivalent of the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, which is Matt
Mhm.
Mercer's and Critical Role's whole thing. So they're
Yes.
the ones who made the class. It was really underpowered, and Matt has said that on multiple occasions that it's super underpowered, and that they've been trying to revamp it over the years to make it better. And it is still not the thing about Wildmount that is the most interesting. Like an entire class, Dunamancy, which is a wizard thing, is still way more interesting.
Might be true. That's a fair point.
So it's like blood hunters are like interesting as like a concept.
Here's my
Yeah.
take after playing, 10-ish episodes of Blood Hunter, or however many it's been.
8.
8. Yeah, so it's you get some cool abilities, but at low levels and even at higher levels, you can only use it so many times.
Yeah.
You got to hurt yourself to do it. We saw last session.
I
with
consider
it.
the hurting yourself as flavor, to be honest.
Well, you
Yes,
tested.
it can
You
be
have,
bad, but
you have. I mean, yeah, but you also once again too many bonus actions. to do anything well. And then maybe just how you have
I
your
think that's
character
more
built.
of a personal thing. I built it with too many bonus actions. Use a
Yeah.
heavier weapon in certain cases.
You got to use 2 bonus actions to activate both weapons. It doesn't work.
Yeah, dual wielding's not the best for a Blood Hunter.
Yeah.
I think Blood Hunter has to be played in such a specific way. It's
Yeah,
like a
it's the
fighter
same
that is
thing.
specifically built to hunt the undead.
Yeah, in this certain scenario that we're in, it's an incredible class, and it's probably the most
100%.
overpowered character in a campaign.
I mean,
But put that in
But
any
you
other
built it to be
campaign-
an overpowered
Yeah,
character in the campaign.
Exactly. I think that's the only situation where it can be that good. I see a Blood Hunter similar to a Hexblade Warlock
Mm.
without
Yeah,
the spellcasting.
I was like, let's just swap the world, put Bagel into the Feywild. You're not going to be nearly as good.
yeah, then he's just going to be a fighter with less,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
I think it's C, maybe D.
I'm
TM's Guild as the source, I believe. So
I'm honestly leaning toward above Ranger and D.
I think it's
Yeah.
still better than Ranger because I think it's still a little bit more interesting
Mhm.
and still a little bit better than a Ranger.
Honestly, I consider it a Ranger flavored differently.
It's more of like a
It's very similar, same like attack base, same dice, similar
Very
ability and
similar,
spell
yeah.
list potential
but
is
less
very similar.
options, even less options for
Well,
different
less
enemy.
options is just because it
Yeah.
hasn't been around as long necessarily.
No, I
think
mean
they're-
like it's the fact is like so at least Ranger you get like hunted like favorite enemy. You can pick from any type of enemy.
Mhm.
Radiant damage
True,
is still
true.
only good against some.
Well,
So-
to be fair, only the subclass I took is radiant damage. You can
okay.
actually use the right to go into basically any elemental power, including on later levels necrotic damage.
Yeah, so fire, cold, lightning, necrotic, psychic, and thunder.
Yeah, so you can
Simple as
psychic, which gets through just about everything in the game.
Psychic and force, I think, are the only ones that are the least defended against.
Yeah,
Like
so
the least resistances.
like of course there is a specific subclass that gives it radiant damage for free and extra damage to undead, but
Yeah.
at the same time you can use all different other types of damage, which can be good in different scenarios.
I think the
so-
problem I have with it is I've never seen it at really high levels, so it's hard to guess.
It's just
Mhm.
hard to think about a high level. I feel like level 10 it's going to be good,
Yeah.
because it's going to be you're going to get to use your ability multiple times for once. You're going to get a higher at I guess level 11 you get a D8 added damage to every attack, and with the way I have my character built, that's 3 attacks coming at you. So that's some good stuff. But at the same time, it's not like they get a third attack naturally at any point. So I feel like you're just going to start to drop off at that point a little bit. And yeah,
I think
even at
you
level
become
17,
really
you only get your
specific.
Blood Maledict, which is essentially your spell, 4 times.
Per rest.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So D tier.
Yeah. Put it wherever you want before or after Ranger, but it's so similar to a Ranger in my mind.
Yeah, that might as well be the same.
I'm in agreement with that.
All right. So let's do a quick recap, start from the top and work our way down. A tier, we're sitting on Bard and Rogue.
This is less
Best
lopsided than
spellcaster,
I
best
was
melee.
imagining. This
Yeah,
is good.
This looks right to me.
It would obviously, if we had the S tier, it would be more of a curve, but even then,
Possibly.
Yeah, Bod might edge S tier and leave Rogan.
yes, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
that's pretty likely.
That might happen.
I mean, I'm biased, but yeah.
No, I fully agree with that. It's just, yeah, Rogue is definitely A tier. Bard is just S tier. We couldn't
I
hit
think
it.
Bard is just the most versatile class. It's a spellcaster
yeah.
that can go melee, but it can also do damage. It can do utility. It can do healing.
It literally can do whatever you want it to do.
And I'm going to say this. A Bard, if you go Valor and focus on melee potential, you're not going to be a good melee fighter. You're just not. But you're
No,
going to
but-
be similar to like a Blade Singer or a Hexblade in
Yeah.
that front, and you still get all the other abilities and spells of a Bard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all saw what our
It's
Bard
gonna be
did and
better than
how
the
it
other
changed
classes'
fights.
versions of themselves.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to compare it to
Obviously.
any of the other martial classes when it comes to fighting things.
I don't think
but-
Bard as a fighting like a melee martial class is going to
Mhm.
beat a fighter in any sense, any situation.
It's gonna be a
It
utility
loses.
melee fighter.
But it is good in a team comp, even if it's like melee fighter. So
All right. Well, on B tier, we got Cleric, Paladin, Fighter, and Sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
I feel pretty.
That's
Yeah, pretty.
I don't hate this.
I
Yeah.
don't have to disagree. I don't think I would say is fighter most subclasses suck. That's about it.
Yeah, like
But
the whole
Equinite picks it up
Fighter
and-
Barbarian dynamic
Yeah, I think Econite is still one of the best.
that could
subclasses.
move around if
Yeah. The feat
also
going
think-
straight level 20, you get all those feats / ability score improvements, which puts it up
I think if-
there.
I almost want to
think
bump
if-
Sorcerer up one just to keep
Keep
Fighter
those-
and Barbarian next to each other.
There's like
sort of.
it's like, would you rather deal more damage or take more hits between a fighter and barbarian? Really?
I think the difference is sorcerers subclasses are still more often more useful than fighter subclasses. Again,
Sure.
yeah, Echo Knight may be the best subclass, one of the best subclasses in the game out of all of the classes, but all the other ones suck. So, like,
I
or
also
most of
think
them are pretty awful. So
If we had that S in with Bard, then Cleric might push a low A. I think.
I can see that.
If you have the S in there. Cleric
Like
might
on a
push-
personal level, I would put Cleric above Rogue. But if we want to even it out a little bit, slide Cleric just behind Rogue. I don't hate that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could.
Yeah.
Other than that, I
Yes.
think that.
All right.
I think Clerics, are similar to Bards in like, okay, they got the melee potential. They got the spell
Versatile.
casting with other abilities. It's just the only thing that puts Bards higher between them is that Bards have all the skills as well.
Yeah. Cleric
I
has
mean,
the tankiness.
Cleric has one of the coolest,
Yes.
one of the like most interesting spells. Like there's just a spell attack. I think Guiding Bolt is just such a
Yeah. And
useful spell. It does
Yeah,
tons of
Guiding Bolt
damage
I like
and
for all the same
advantage.
reasons I like Vicious
and I
Mockery,
do love
so-
that
Exactly.
diversity you get with all your subclasses. Like all those domains you get to
Yeah.
pick from is beautiful.
Yeah,
True, it's super
lots of
versatile.
different types of domains for clerics. And even so, you don't have to play a domain that is based. Like you can play a domain with a god, but you don't really have to. You don't even have to play the religious cleric too often.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got
you
me.
can still play a yeah.
Yeah, so many. All right, C tier. We have Barbarian, Druid, Wizard, Warlock.
Wizard. And here we see most of our spellcasters.
Yeah.
True.
Because they're either really great or really lackluster.
And once again, I think if you master a spellcasting class, it's going to be
Yeah.
better than a lot of the other
Well,
ones
like we
in
said,
certain
Wizard has
scenarios.
potential to be S tier. It has like so
that's right.
powerful, wish, all that you have.
Yeah, but you get wish on like so many other things.
But
not
it's
that hard.
so situational too.
I'm pretty sure Genie Warlock also gets wish. So
I would not doubt it. Yeah.
I think that's why C's perfect. Because it could be A, but it could be F.
That's reasonable.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wizard is either man, I got one shot in this fight, or
Mhm.
man, I'm doing all of the damage this fight.
yeah.
So yeah.
And a
and-
Warlock behind that with their 4 spell slots.
And if Warlock's packed magic was any better, it would be so much better. But it's either you go level 1, level 2, or level 20. There's no in between.
Mm-hmm.
Like Warlock level 20. The other problem with Warlock is you cast everything at eye level. So there's no choice. Max
Which is
level and
great
low
when it
level.
comes to certain spells. Oh, great! I get 2 high level, this spell.
Twice.
But what if you want to cast a low spell and it doesn't have any bonus effect to higher level casting?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not.
Then you're
it's-
just wasting all that goodness.
Alright.
And then the what are the
Underrated.
arcane mysticums or whatever they're called? Yeah.
Mhm.
From levels 7, 8, and 9. It's like
Yeah, I mean that's really just a limit to make it so you're using the Warlock spell rules, but you're not overpowered by having multiple high level spell slots.
Now, as far as a multi-class goes, Warlock is one of the best because you can get so much value out of one level Warlock,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
and then all the value of any other classes. So
All right. Well,
Yeah.
B tier. We got Blood Hunter and Ranger.
yeah,
Yeah. Though. Yeah.
They're really just those classes.
Really-
It's like
They're
I always
basically the
consider
same
Ranger
thing.
halfway between a fighter and a rogue. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
can't do it as good as either of them, but
That's why you become all 3 of them.
you get to
That's
roleplay. yeah.
That's why
Think
you
of it this way:
become-
why would you become a ranger in the middle of that, though?
yeah.
You-
Just do
just
rogue
pick
fighter.
one or
You're
the
gonna be a
other.
Ranger, you start Ranger.
If you're gonna go rogue fighter multi-class, do not put Ranger in there. There's literally no point.
No.
What are you getting from Ranger that you wouldn't get from a bonus level of any of the other ones?
Favorite enemy.
Whoa! Man, I can't wait to fight 0 undeads.
A second fighting style.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's about it. Yeah.
That sounds not bad.
Fighters
No,
kind of got that though.
Well, you get another
Yeah.
one if you go multi-class,
Yeah,
but that's
you
about
get
it.
both.
That's true.
That's what I.
But then just go Paladin and
what
get
I
it.
think.
True.
Oh.
Got F.
F. Artificer and Monk. I mean, Artificer, we haven't seen enough love for it, honestly, to give a
still
valid
think it's
opinion.
D.
But it needs the right scenario, really.
I think in
Yeah.
a long campaign, Artificer
But,
awesome. In a
like,
short
I
campaign,
think
Artificer
it's the same
trash.
as Blood Hunter, where it needs that scenario, and if it doesn't have it,
Mm-hmm.
it's
It's not versatile enough. It's like compared to like a bard, where it's like super versatile. Like you can do whatever the heck you want. Artificer is like really one dimensional and really specific. So that's
Yeah.
that's
And
the
then
issue
there's
with it.
Monk. That
Honestly,
no
I
one...
feel like in the F for me, those are just kind of things I don't want to role play too much either. At
Yeah.
least unless it's in a specific thing.
You don't
Because just
role
playing
play
a monk
blacksmithing a monk.
in the middle of a fantasy sword and shield combat thing, I don't feel like I'm going to punch a dragon. I don't want to punch a dragon.
No, that kind of
There's
attitude.
many scenarios and genres where a monk can be
Where
really
before
good.
Elements Monk. Now you've got Water Fists.
No,
I
dude,
don't want to
everyone
water
listen,
fist a dragon.
everyone thinks that 4 Elements Monk is gonna be you're the avatar and you're dope. You suck. You're
Well, now you get
useless.
one.
Why are you spellcasting as a monk?
There are no good monk ones.
No, Way of the Long Dead's not awful. The new UA ones are not terrible.
I mean, yeah.
Most of them suck.
Yeah. There's like 3.
It's like Astral Self doesn't do anything until like level like 20 or something. It's like not great.
I think we did
It's-
a good job on this list.
I'm surprised that we are able to agree as much as we have. I imagine
No,
this would be a lot
screw
more
you
divisive.
guys.
Like, I know
Yeah.
I've had my disagreements between, like, the wizard and the rogue and where they stand, but,
I mean,
At the
most
same
of them are
time,
like
if I look
half
on
a
them
step
from a
down.
general player, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you look at it all in a straight line, you take away A, B, C, D, and F. Like the placement still stand for the most part.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
don't- yeah.
agree.
I don't have to disagree with this. I think it's a good placement.
So, looking at this list, what do you want to play more, a bard or an artificer?
Artificer.
That's kind of where my mind's going right now, because I want to prove this list wrong, and I know I can make overpowered characters, and I want to make an overpowered artificer.
Yeah, once again,
thing,
it's the
right?
campaign. You need the right campaign for
No,
Artificer.
yeah, I think I'd also want to wait to play artificer until, like, I'm doing something that fits it.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Just because monk is F and all the subclasses suck doesn't mean I ain't gonna play a monk.
Right.
And
I'm
all the things
absolutely
can
gonna
still be
play
equally
another
fun to
monk.
play.
I
I
loved
played a
playing
ranger
my monk
twice.
boy.
Plus, as a monk, you can do a lot of the same things.
I
as a
got
rogue,
to
just
incinerate a
worse.
dead body that was sitting in a chair with the fire swirls, and then I died. But
But I look cool doing it.
well,
Yeah.
debatably.
Mhm.
Alright.
So
Yeah. I guess we're gonna
Yeah.
end the stream off there. Thank you guys so much for
Yeah.
watching. This is
Mhm.
our unofficial, official tier list.
officially unofficial.
We did something today.
Go play a bard.
Or if you want to be hated, play a monk.
No, that's if you want to hate.
No one's
yourself.
gonna hate you for playing any of the
You'll
classes.
you'll hate yourself.
Yeah, the only person that'll hate you is you when you realize, man, I'm not doing much.
I don't know. If I played another ranger, you might hate
Like maybe by level 5 when you get your magical fist, it's okay. Or level
Richie's
6.
the next ranger Rich is gonna play is gonna use a blow dart.
me. Hey, that'd be fun.
Blow dart and whip only.
That's one kind of character.
Everyone's gonna hate you if you play a cleric that doesn't heal.
Alright. Bolt
that
the
is
class
also a
as an
fun character.
artificer
That's
monk.
good.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm playing cleric. I'm gonna heal. I went war domain. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
Yeah, those healing slots are for me.
I heal
those
myself.
those spell slots are for dealing damage, not for
Yeah.
healing you.
I'm here to inflict wounds.
I've
not
wanted
heal
to
them.
them.
I've wanted to pick up a cleric where like you don't pick up any healing spells.
Damage is like healing, but for the but not for you.
Yeah.
For the enemy.
I don't know when I'm gonna like. A cleric's one of the
Yeah.
characters I've had thought up for like the longest time, and I don't know when I'm gonna roll this guy out. But man, I really want to roll him out.
I shall heal you with necrotic damage.
Yep. Damage is like healing, except you're not healing. You're just killing the enemy faster.
Prove me wrong.
Can't take the damage if there's no enemy to take damage from. Trust me.
Yeah, very simple thought process.
Alright, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We're gonna head off here. Check us out for Wild Beyond the Witchlight Sunday at 4 p.m. EST.
Woo!
This time slot at 6 p.m. on Friday nights. 6 p.m. EST shall be the new time for Curse of Strahd. I believe Mario has something in the process of coming up soon. Hopefully it comes out.
True.
Hopefully it comes out soon. Keep an ear out. One of the four of us are going to be a part of it. Who could it be?
Guess which one.
Da-da-da-da-da.
And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.